Well, welcome once again into one of our walled garden tours. We're going to show you some of the delights of the Felbrigg Hall walled garden, managed by the National Trust. This is a quite extensive walled garden here, just about 2 miles from the coast here in North Norfolk, just below the seaside town of Cromer. Now, this walled garden's been here for several centuries, but the plantings are in part quite modern. They've designed gravel gardens. This is part of an area to show how sustainability can be brought into modern garden culture. They've got, and I'm going to show you in this video, some of the most wonderful tulips, narcissi, even flowering little late ones here. There wasn't any scent on them, but it's just a marvellous planting. The gardens are really well maintained in the walled garden here, with plenty of mulch being used. Got quite a tropical feel, as you can see, with some palms and a variety of succulents. We've got quite a few greenhouses being restored. Just look at this clematis and alpina, absolutely awash with colour at this time of year, doing really well. Growing figs in pots, which we've not seen before. Most of the fig trees here at Felbrigg are grown on the what must be 12 to 15 foot walls and have been in place for several hundred years in some cases. These tulips, really large flowered. I'm not sure whether that's a consequence of the mulch, the good conditions of the soil, or the shelter. Just look at this old wall, peppered with old nails for support and bee holes, which is quite a thing here on this sunny aspect. Tulips again in the afternoon sun, just catching the light. They're absolutely magnificent. Just look at this. Flower must have been around 4.5 inches in diameter. Absolutely beautiful things. Lovely grown specimens. Some of the finest tulips I've seen here in England. A lot of the time they last such a short period of time and really take a bashing from the weather, but in this walled garden it's ideal growing conditions for them. Last little flash of colour of this one as it sets seed. Just look at that form. I talked a little about the mature trees they've got here. Probably 150 year old espaliered pear and apple trees on this wall. Beautiful specimens. One of the few places you can still see these really mature, well grown, full size fruit trees. This choice here, the scent from this, I wish I could convey to you. It's absolutely heady in the walled garden with the shelter from the wind on this afternoon. More tulips, orange variety. Just look at the colour burst. The sunlight just catching them through. This is predominantly a vegetable garden, having said that. And a lot of the garden is let out to groups of volunteers that come in and use it as a vegetable allotment.
Well ahead of ours.
Have to adhere to the guidelines set out by the National Trust. But there are vegetables still grown in here. It's a lovely clump of rhubarb that hasn't been forced by the look of it. Everything's a good couple of weeks further on than in an unwalled garden, and they've still got the original dovecote here with live specimens still in situ. Just look at that fantastic historic part of the Felbrigg estate. These are Crown Imperials, the yellow variety, which we haven't got growing in our farm garden. We've got some of the orange, which we've videoed. Clarity in this pond water is astounding. It was full of newts actually when you got close up and looked at it. More of those fantastic tulips, peppered around the borders in this walled garden. And some frizzle pekins, lavender pekins, and some frizzles that are just allowed to wander around within the confines of the walled garden during the daytime, much to the delight of the visitors. It does give another dimension to a garden when you visit it and there's livestock there. Beds of irises, Not as far on as I'd expect them, but they're strawberry plants grown through this black weed protecting and inhibiting membrane really far on. Won't be long before they're in flower. That's the dovecote we showed you a little earlier. Down in front of that, this fantastic round pond.
That's beautiful. That's really
Well
beautiful.
oxygenated. I think that's the secret to keeping the water clear. If you do get the chance to visit Felbrigg, please do so. It's a fantastic facility here in Norfolk.